Hello? Oh, I think we're back. Come on, guys. I think we've got sound. Let me know in the live chats. I'm sure we've got sound now. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. You've got to be my saviour. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Anyway, I'm sure we have sound. Somebody let me know in the live chat. So we've got just under 10 minutes. Beautiful. That was one of those beautiful live moments. I need a coffee after that. One sec. Thank you very much. Anyway, so we will briefly go over that again. So, obviously, this is the European Racing Series Season 1X, Round 3 at Kyalami. We had a quick look at the track earlier. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, mate. And so, yeah, we're at Kyalami. We're in free practice. We're going to move into qualifying shortly. And then in qualifying, what we're going to do is, because we've got such a big grid, which is fantastic, that's going to be done in 2 splits, as not a case of pros and AMs, as Sebastian goes for a little wander on the gravel there. Be careful, you're going to ruin your paintwork. He's probably going to have a look at the stream, so I'll just move off him now. He'll probably kill me. And we'll have a look at Fazekas. So what we can do, we can obviously run through the track. We'll do a track walk, which is a slower process, so everyone can understand what the drivers are going to go through. We'll have a look at who is with us this evening, and what we shall also do when we get into qualifying, we'll do a full lap guide on board with, well, whichever victim I decide to choose this week, which is always quite interesting and good fun, to be fair. Mr. JR Sim Racing is in the live chat. Good evening, JR. Hope you're well. Guy's hot with a beard. Yeah, I am a budget Wolverine. Yeah, well, it's November. I mean, I can see you've grown some facial hair as well on your stream the other day, but I think that's because we're all getting old, mate. I'm trying to look more manly, potentially. So once we qualify, the 2 splits will go out, and they will have 10 minutes each. Obviously, if they cross the line when they're on the 10-minute timing, they can finish that lap. But obviously, if anyone's out after 12 minutes, then they're going to get literally hooked off the grid. And then we're going to move into a 65-minute race, which is always good. We are very well. We're very well, JR. Thank you very much. Mine's old age as well. We're going to move into a 65-minute race. There will be 1 mandatory stop, and just to make it more interesting, there's a 20-minute pit window. So it's not, it means people can utilise some strategy. We had was doing some commentary last night for a different league, and we had a chap who was absolutely stonking and then run out of fuel on the last lap, and yeah, he was a bit gutted. Very true, JR. She could always decide to say no, though. JR's telling me that his good lady's already agreed to get married to him, but hey, freedom of choice and all that. So yeah, that's what we've got coming up for everybody this evening. So sit back, relax, grab a drink or get your dinner, whatever you're going to do, and enjoy some pretty awesome racing that we are going to certainly have. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. And again, if anyone is watching on the YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, COMMS by Coops, please do press like. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subbed and you want to see the rest of this series and of the series that I get involved with, consider a sub. Alternatively, please have a look on the ERS Twitch channel, which we are also streaming live from at the same time. And don't worry, I'll get both the chats come through to me, so we can always get involved. So what we've got left, 6.5 minutes. Let's have a look at our little track walk for this evening, shall we? Right, so, and I do have sound, I just wanted to check that. Can I please check Discord? I can indeed. I'll come away from that though whilst I check Discord. Oh, okay, let's have a look. Can I get this downloaded? Oh, Joel! Some team manager got a shout at me. I know, the mic is on now, dude. The mic is on. You want me to download this now? Oh, mate. I could try. Everyone, you're going to have to pause and enjoy some beautiful driving on there whilst I attempt to get this downloaded. 1 second, everyone. Let's open that. Come on. Right, so that's that one. Let's open this up. 1 second. Right, this is on the fly. This definitely costs a lot extra now. Joking. Okay, as you guys enjoy the sound of those vehicles flying around, whilst I feverishly try and get some more liveries downloaded. That's why awesome sim racing is the way to go. It's very, very simple. Right, so what have we got? That's a livery. Right, livery folder in livery. Let's pop that in there. That's going to do its thing, and then let's go car file. 1 second, nearly there. Come on, open up. Open up. No, that's not what I want. So, come on. No, that's not doing it. Right, so Joel, just so you are aware, we have the livery folder done, but let me download that. I'm trying to get this car file in, and it's not liking what I'm doing. Got to be honest with you. So, ladies and gents, if you have just joined us, you can see we're doing some very, very last-minute work on the fly to try and get... Actually, let me copy that instead. To try and get one of the livery on. Well, dude, that's as good as I can get that. I'm sorry, mate. Okay, livery folder's in. Car file won't let me download it. Won't let me put it into the folder. That's where I'm at with it, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to leave that one there, dude. I know you're going to get shouted at. I apologise. But also, we just need to, well, get the awesome sim racing thing done. And it'll make it really, really easy for everybody. They can all load up their own liveries. And then all I have to do is sync it. And then there's no issues every single week. But we shall crack on. So we were about to have a look at our track walk, but what kind of time have we got left? 2 minutes. Let's do it. Okay, let's have a look at our Kyalami track walk. So top down view of Kyalami. We'll have a look at sectors 1, 2 and 3, and evidently there's a few, lots of different technical sections of this track which we need to be aware of this evening. So we've got some decent straights, we've got some heavy braking zones, we've got twisty corners, we've got some really technical elements, especially down Leocop, and as you can see, down the straight, round, down through the kink into Crowthorne, which is your first left-hander. We go through there, and then through the Juski sweep, into Barbecue, a little run, up towards Sunset, really good corner Sunset actually, you've got to have the car balanced through there, and then down into Clubhouse Bend through the S's, and then up towards my favourite part of the track, which is Leocop, really, really technical, sort of double left-hand down, all the way down Mine Shaft there, and then into Crocodiles. As you can see, quite a heavy braking zone, and then through Cheetah, and then Ingwe is your final corner of the track. So again, we will be able to go into that in much more detail when we actually jump on board with someone for qualifying. So that, I mean, that is your brief walkthrough. So last week we had, I mean, Sebastian last week did really well, absolutely blitz free practice and also blitz qualifying. I think he did a 140 last week, absolutely stonking lap, and then got disconnected before the race started, so no doubt he was pretty gutted and hoping he could do better off this evening, and the fact that he's going to have that rather lovely livery on there, he'll probably be hoping that he can be more competitive tonight. But this chap, Pitzik, in the pits at the moment, in the 141 Aston Martin, he ran away with it last week. Was really impressed with him in qualifying and actually led 32 laps last week. So, yeah, pretty quick. And then Brugnara as well in the number 9 Audi also did very well last week. And we've got a couple of Clarksons in. We've got different things going on, which I'm sure is going to certainly add to the overall event and the competitiveness of it all. So, let's just quickly run through the split. So, Apostle, Fazekas, Catricala, Guidis, Kellaway, DeMarco, Branagra, Petrosini, Vice, Rogers, Paggi, Oliga, Pitzik, Matoli, Lenardi, Karai, Clarkson, Svirkov, Gowrie, Dormand, Guaglio, Bergeron, Magnani, Diodati, Perez, Brugnara, 2 will all run in split 1, which will get underway in about 20 seconds. Then in split 2, we've got Bogdanovic, George Clarkson, Centurino, Vasarani, Crepesi, Carai, Benelli, Baldinini, Patini, King, Dogny, Milani, Battistella, Grayling, Graggy, Stock, Catalano, Gala, Penzes, Salminen, Tacchini, Casta, Duran, Pennington, Graveson, Marquis, Guerin, Cyprian and Marco Keddy. We'll talk about him in a moment. They will be in your split 2, just so you are all aware of what's going on. Let's change that. Let's do qualify personal bests so we can see some different information for everyone. So we'll just go on to Helicam at the moment. Yeah, so again, Joel, I'm sure you're keeping your eye on this, mate. The livery folder went in the actual car JSON file, would download but wouldn't go across. It was just giving me lots of different code, not like it normally would do in the actual file. So that is why that happened. Everybody is now coming into the pits, as you can see, and we're going to get ready. We're going to get ready for it to all kick off. Let me just check that 1 second whilst that happens. Does that come up there? Not at the moment. Okay, so that's coming through there. That was nice. Well done, everyone. Yes, Kyalami. Fantastic track. I believe you're actually quite quick round there, aren't you, Mr. Hughes, as you are in most tracks. Green light, go, go, go. Right, first out of the bag. Let's find our first victim for this evening. Who is it? Of course it is. Do you know what? Right, Sebastian sent me earlier on a little snapshot of the amount of liveries that he's got. It's a lot. It is a lot of liveries, which is fair enough. But to any of the chaps that we do have a look at, or ladies that we have a look at this evening, if you are still rocking Team Carbon, it's definitely not because they're being uploaded incorrectly. I have a feeling it's going to have something to do with either the JSON file or the DDS file. You know, we can have it on 0 or 1. I'm 100% sure that's going to be where any issues are. So, BMW, number 12 BMW of Sebastian Apostel, he's definitely going to be wanting to provide well, some serious pace this evening, no doubt. Although I don't know if Kyalami is a good track for him or not. With me being fairly new over here within ERS, it's obviously taken me time to get to understand each of the drivers, what their sort of motivations are, strengths, weaknesses, and I mean, I know we need to use all the track, but that was just a tad too much there, I think. Okay, so let's do ourselves a little lap guide with Sebastian as we come up to Ingwe. Okay, so down the start finish straight. The first corner is actually called the kink, but it's not really a corner, obviously. It's this little kink on the right hand side here. So we want to keep it as far to the right as we can. Into Crowthorns, we're going to have a second gear corner, so hard on the brakes just now, and then we're going to lift off slightly. He's gone into first, probably tyres aren't in the window yet. Quick upshift into second, pull it over to the middle of the track, and then immediately hook right and get onto that curb, and then hard on the brakes for barbecue. No down chains, interesting. I definitely would have been in second gear there. Roll the throttle on, and then we've got the run up towards Sunset, so across to the left hand side. Long sweeping right hander this one, so we're just going to back off and look at the curb. There's a little kink in the curb. That is your opportunity to go. Bring it back across to the right, hard on the brakes into Clubhouse Bend, second gear, get it tucked in, apex, use the exit curb and all of that on the way out, and then we've got the short run towards the S's. We should have a back off here, get the car tucked in, use a bit of the curb on the left and swing across, full throttle now, full throttle through there, across to the left hand side, use that exit curb, then up towards Leacock. Difficult part of the track, so hard on the brakes, down into first gear, get it tucked in. It's almost a double apex corner, as you can see. That was a nice line through there. We're going to pull to the right, down mine shaft. We're going to tuck it close to the curb on the left-hand side in a moment, just under the bridge, up towards Cheetah, and then just halfway between the 50 and the 100 board on the brakes, down into second, car tucked in again, nice apex, squeeze the throttle, use all that curb on the right-hand side, and then into the fabulous corner, which is Cheetah, and that was committed. We took a bit of grass there, hard on the brakes into Ingwe, into second gear, down into first, get it tucked in, apex, throttle, go, lap done. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. And what kind of time are we going to put on the board? Well, he's obviously gone P1 at the moment, the 140.320. Okay, so pit 6 already getting involved as well, so let's come off that view for the moment. So pit 6 getting involved. Petrosini's just gone P2 there with a 140.325, as you can see on your screen. Pit 6 in the third place. Then we've got, then we've got Fazekas, who's running in the 95 Honda. He's currently fourth. Catricala is in 5th place in the number 60 Ferrari, again rocking Team Carbon, as you can see there, and no change in that top 4, though there has just been one. Jason Kellaway, nice from Jason, in the 23 Aston Martin there, one of the few Brits that are in this series, which I think is going to grow. I'm sure that will go. So Catricala's just gone yellow on my screen, back into the pits. Paggy's running in 7th, and then Mattia Brugnara there, as you can see, is currently in 8th. Ooh, interesting. So also last week, if you caught the stream last week, you see. So Andrea, I want to say Guidis, but I'm 100% sure that'll be wrong. So I'll stick with Andrea again for this week. Was very quick pace last week, and was just a little bit unlucky in terms of the finishing position, but goes potential P1 with a 140.165. So you can see, in terms of what you can see on your screen, obviously you've got the driver name, the car number, and you've got their actual their lap doubters, so you can see if they are up on their last lap or not. And I actually want to change that. We can't, so we're going to have to leave that one as it is for now. I could do with an extra column of information there, really, to give you all what their actual lap times are and how much they're up or down by. But I can see that, you guys can't, which is a shame. So Andrea there's, and Petrosini goes, wow, that is a quick lap. So we don't have a lot in it. We've got a 140 flat, and we've got a 140.132, a 140.137, so 5 thousandths between Pitzik and Fazekas. Andrea's now down to 4th with a 140.165, so again, only a couple of hundredths in that. Then we've got Sebastian Apostle with a 140.320, Kellaway with a 140.370, Brugnara with a 140.380, and then we've got Samuel Brugnara, the other Brugnara within the grid, with a 140.492, a 140.680. Wow, the top 11 are literally, wow, that is impressive at the moment. So we'll see how all of this pans out. Let's get on board. Let's get on board with him. With Petrosini in the 85 Audi. As you can see, currently leading the timesheets. Quickest in Sector 2 with 39.525, not quickest in Sector 1 or 3. We'll just have a little listen. So these guys have got 5 minutes left of their qualifying session. Again, the track will be evolving. We've got 19 ambient and 23 on track at the moment, so certainly nice conditions there. Are we going to have an improvement? What's going to happen? No, and we're going in the pits. Right, so Andrea, your turn. The show is yours. What can you do? Pit 16 in 3rd, Fazekas 4th, Apostle 5th, Brugnara, Samuel is 6th, Kellaway 7th, Brugnara, Mattia 8th, Paggy 9th, Dormand, Lee Dormand is in 10th, that's a new name for me, so welcome Lee. Alessandro Catricala is in 11th place, Jose Alejandro Perez is 12th, and then Magniga is 13th, Sverkov 14th, Oliga's in 15th place, Matoli 16th, Guaglio 17th, Lunardi's in 18th, Karai currently is 19th, and then Miles Clarkson Miles Clarkson is in 20th place as Andrea makes that lap count with a first one under the 140s, a 139.917. So that is most certainly an impressive lap. Gauntlet over to Petrosini, Pitzik, Fazekas and Apostle. Let's see what you boys have got. If we move a little bit further down the grid, let's have a look at Miles Clarkson. Yeah, it's always good. I always try and give everybody some airtime. So Miles in the 108 Bentley. As you can see, quickest lap there for Miles is a 1:43.292, which is a good 3+ seconds off the pace. And that Bentley doesn't look massively happy at the moment. And Boxy Box is in. Hello, Boxy Box. How are you? Are you good? Hope you well, mate. Yeah, we're just in qualifying at the moment. Split 1 is out. They've got sort of 3 minutes left, and then we're going to have the second split of the 5,000 drivers we've got this evening, all with very exotic European names, I may say, which is great for me because I've just joined the UN for a language course, so all good. So Andrea's still leading that at the moment. So Petrosini still second, Pitzik, Fazekas, Apostle, and then Brugnara. They are your top 6. We're having a look at Miles at the moment to see if Miles can improve on that last lap, although I think he is on an invalid lap according to what I'm looking at. So we'll move away and we'll have a look at Karai just coming into the pits there. As you can see in the 74 BMW, and he's going very, very slowly, so that must be a fuel issue, I think. Lenardi, running 18th, is in the pits. Guaglio, there he is, in his number 22 Ferrari, out on track at the moment, hasn't set a quick time yet, so, well, you need to get a shift on, buddy, because you've got 2 minutes and 12 seconds until the flag falls. But you can see there we have a lovely livery, which has been uploaded, so everybody can be happy with that. Martinelli we'll have a look at shortly as well. Still shaking after the league race yesterday of Michael. Yes, okay. I know, I did watch Dave's maiden comms broadcast yesterday. I liked the bit where he cut out the start of the race. But yeah, I'll be there at the end of the season, mate, don't worry. So it'll all be good. But glad that you're in, dude. Glad that you're in. Hope you had a good day. So Max Oliger in 16th place. He is in the pits, as you can see. And that was a great time to have a look at Luka Zverkov there. Beautiful livery, by the way. And I loved the way the light shone on it as it went round. That was pretty cool. Magnani is in the pits at the moment. Dormand is still out. So in the 101. A very famous number is the 101, which is my number in other leagues. But yeah, so let's hope Lee has a decent one. Andrea is still leading at this stage. Petrosini still second. So no change there. Pitzik still third. Fazekas is fourth. Everyone's in the pit, so I think they're quite happy with their lot at the moment. Sebastian Apostel is running. He is in the pits as well in fifth. Brugnara sixth. Kellaway seventh. Brugnara, Matias eighth. Then we've got Paggy, who's also in the pits. Perez is still out, as is Lee, that we're watching at the moment. So let's finish watching. Well, no, Lee says I'm not happy with that, so he decides to bin that lap. And it looks like Perez is also on a slow go at the moment, so nobody from split 1 is currently out, so we need to pick up split 2. So that's very, very well done, ladies and gents. That's nicely choreographed, I have to say. So split 1, as you can see, they are all in the pits. Where is, wow, 737, he knows the score, and that isn't showing either. No, it is. It is indeed. So, first one out the bag. But that was a really good lap, dude. That was a really good lap. You know, it's not an easy track, so just keep at it. Obviously, everything's gonna keep evolving. The car's gonna come to you. You know, just enjoy the race, dude. So split 2 are currently out, and as you can see, we are looking at Marco Keddy, who joined us sort of late in the championship, but I know Keddy extremely well. As you can see, he has that beautiful liveried car there, which is another league, Formula Racing League. But hey, he is an absolute addict for sim racing, as we all are, in whatever role we take within it, whether it's racing, whether it's sitting here doing this job, whether it's running leagues, admin, you know, you name it. 40 points is much faster than what I would be doing. That's all I'm saying. Much faster than what I would be doing. So Keddy's out. We'll jump on board with him in a moment, and then we'll see what everyone else can do. So no pressure, Mr. Keddy, who is actually an airline pilot in real life, so he should be flying around here. And Jan Barsin as well. Yeah, faster Keddy. That's his catchphrase. So off we go down towards the start-finish straight in his trusty McLaren. So through the kink in the run down towards Crowthorne, and we did see Sebastian Apostel doing a lot of these in second gear, which evidently in the BMW you can, because she's got good gearing, good distribution of that torque. Whereas the McLaren is a little bit more pointy squirty. You got to balance her a little bit more. So he's gone through the Juski sweep in towards Barbecue. Nicely apex there and on the throttle. So lap's looking okay at the moment. Pulls across for Sunset. I'm going to get rid of that coffee because, well, I'll give it one more try. I'm sure it's near enough cold at the moment. Down into Clubhouse Bend. So he's also taken that in second gear. Let's see how she handles through the S's. Let's watch his inputs on that steering wheel. Everything seems to be nice and composed at the moment. You can just see the hands moving a tiny bit, so he's ready to react, and Fresh Brizzle is in. Alan Brown, good evening to you, sir. Hope you're well. How was your first day? That's what I want to know, Briz. Hope it all went well, mate. Now, the run down mine shaft, I know, so he's trying to get some temperature in those tyres, so Keddy, no doubt, is going to go for another quick lap. Remember, ladies and gents, we've got 7 minutes left. We've had split 1 out already. This is split 2. And obviously, this is not a case of pros and ams. Everyone's in the same category. So this is actually for position within the same championship on the grid, which will always make things a little bit more interesting, I think. So I'm going to keep an eye on those top timesheets. What did Keddy do there? 42.125. That was most definitely a banker lap from Keddy. Either that or he's... Well, I'm not saying nothing. Good. Alan says he's had a good day. That's what I like to hear. Jay Story, let's go Shogun. Right. Hello, Mr. Story. I hope you're well. Thank you for popping in and putting a comment on there. Again, if any of you are watching on the YouTube channel, I will say it 500 times during the stream. I always do. If you like what you're seeing, if you're supporting people and it's all good, press like. If you want to see what happens in the rest of this series or any other content that I do or leagues that I commentate on, consider a sub. That would be awesome. And again, if you're then watching on the Twitch channel, or if you're not, come over to the Twitch channel as well and do a follow. Whatever's going to help push the European Racing Series on as well. You know, we're all here for the same reason, guys, and that is the racing. So Keddy's gone P13 with that particular lap. Let's go down and have a look at see if any of the who's currently doing what within split 2. So Marco Centurino, let's have a look at Marco Centurino. Unfortunately, that Porsche is rocking the Team Carbon look, has set a lap of 140.822, which is pretty good, and that's got up to 13th place. Magnani was from split 1. Christian Stock there is in 15th with a 141.045. Then we've got Keddy, we were looking at earlier on. Togny's out as well, currently running in 18th place. So Christian in his 25 Porsche. Now that livery did load because I did it myself. I know that livery loaded. Yeah, so Togny's currently running in 19th. Actually, let's go back to Christian. He's just gone across the line, isn't it? See what he can do with that lap. He does improve, so he goes from 16th up to 13th, so that's going to please him, no doubt. Togny's running. Raggy, is in 18th at the moment. Where's Raggy? Come on, show us yourself. In the 77 Carbon Honda. It is my mission, by hook or by crook, me and Joel, by the time we go live next week, we're going to have to make sure everyone's doing what they need to do so that we can do what we need to do as well, just to make sure there's no sort of loose ends or cross wires, because I'm sure all of these liveries that we can't see, and it's not many, but I'm sure the ones we can't see are epic. You know, everyone spends a lot of time on their liveries, don't they? So Anyway, so Sverkov, he's in the pits, so Oliver Gala is out at the moment in the 99 McLaren. There we go. What a nice shade of blue that is. Currently running in 21st place. Bogdanovic. Let's have a look at Bogdanovic. We're not going to miss that Aston. We've kind of got a McLaren-themed Aston there, haven't we? The papaya and the blue. Yeah, that's definitely what we got there. So Matthias is running in 23rd place. Vasarani in his 47 Audi is running in 24th. We had a look at Oliga earlier on. And there we go. There's another livery that I know loaded up. And we've got a Nissan. We've got a Nissan in the field, which is always great to see. I said this last week. It is pretty quick, Briz, but there's not actually that many of them, I have to be honest with you. But it's just unfortunate. Like, this chap loaded it up earlier on today, and looks pretty cool on that Nissan. Then we've got Mads Graveson's running in 27th at the moment in his BMW. Matoli, or Graylin, Stefan Graylin's running in 29th, currently sat in the pits. Adam Penzies, let's have to check Adam out, currently in 30th in the number 7 BMW. As she comes flying down towards Crocodiles, if I am not mistaken. I don't believe that I am. So Crocodiles, and we've got George Clarkson in 31st in his 110 Bentley. I do like the livery on that Bentley. Rodolfo Lonardi's in the pits. Karai's in the pits as well. Well, let's have a look at Mr. Pennington. So Luke Pennington in the 740 BMW. Again, we've got a nice livery on there. Let's go PC. Right, Briz wants to go and race on Kota. Off you go then, Briz. Off you go. After the stream, my friend. 2 minutes 15 seconds left, and so Pennington's running in 36th at the moment in his BMW, and then Crepesi is 37th. Again, no livery on that one, unfortunately. Benelli is 38th, so I'm assuming they're in the same team, and Fabio Carrera is currently 39th. So at the top of the grid, we've got still Andrea, any of these guys challenging. So the highest runner from Split 2 currently, and obviously Split 1 and Split 2 is taken from the current championship standings. Okay, so you know, again, it's not a split in terms of classification, but it is a split in terms of, well, the pace that these chaps and chapettes are showing at the moment. So Christian Stock is currently your leader in Split 2, currently running in 14th place, which is pretty good at 140.680, which is actually exactly the same lap time as Alessandro Catricala in 13th place, so that's pretty cool. And then Centurino's running in 15th, Magnani's in 16th. And a lot of these guys, obviously, that you can see on your screen that are in the pits were running from Split 1. So let's just stick on board with Christian. Let's see if he can. No, he's literally dead on, isn't he? Look at his split; it's 0 from his previous lap. So he evidently, what's that time at? 46.70, and that's going to be a 10th. Yeah, that is literally 100th quicker than his previous lap. But as I did say, had the same time as Alessandro, so moves up to 13th place. Well done to you, Christian. Marco Centurino there in his Porsche as well. So in terms of, let's actually have a look at the manufacturers that we've got out this evening. Let's have a look at the split, what we've got on the grid. Hondas, Beamers, Audis. Well, that's a pretty good split, I would say. Let's go a bit further down the grid and see what the rest are about. Let's have a look at Mads in his BMW. And again, yeah, we've got some McLarens, a few Beamers in there. You would expect that at this stage. That's a pretty good split. That is a pretty good split, and qualifying is just coming to an end at the moment, so I'm going to change that for later on. So as everybody's just beginning to finish their last laps, we'll then be able to bring you what the grid is going to look like, and not much change from Split 1, I have to say, as we're looking at Mads Graveson, see if he can improve any more. Christian Stock will obviously be keen to see if he could maybe dip that into the top 10. Who knows? We'll certainly find out. And then we've got Centurino in 15th, Magnani 16th. Keddy is in 17th at the moment. Keddy's in the pit, so he's finished. Vasarani's in 18th place, still going. So we've only got a few. So Christian is 0.3 up on his lap time, and there we go. That shows you how tight it is. 0.3 moves himself up from 13th to 8th. Christian, well done. That was a good lap indeed. And let's see if Marco can follow suit. Who knows? Let me just change these bits whilst we're watching the end of qualifying. Okay, we'll leave that as it is. So there we go, ladies and gents. Qualifying for round 3 is finished. Can you remember the route? Okay, well, potentially. Right, we'll leave that where it is at the moment. So there you go, ladies and gents. Your grid for round 3 at Kyalami of the European Racing Series is as follows. We have Andrea is on pole position. Congratulations, with a 1:39.917, the only individual in the 39s there. Petrosini is in second place with a 1:40.067. Ole Pitzik is third, only 500ths behind in third place. Then we've got Fazekas in fourth, again 5,000ths behind. Apostel is in fifth place, probably about 400ths behind there. Then we've got Samuel Brugnara in sixth, Jason Kellaway in seventh, Christian Stock in eighth, Mattia Brugnara is going to start in ninth, and Ricardo Paggi is going to be, let me just change the view on that whilst I run through everything, is going to round out your top 10. No, come back here please. Going to round out your top 10. Right, let's go Helicam, let's go on board there. Okay, whilst we run through the rest of this, where do we get to? Ricardo Paggi 10th place. 11th we've got Perez, he's going to start alongside Lee Dorman in 12th. Marco Ticini is going to start 13th alongside Alessandro Catricala. Marco Centurino is going to be in 15th alongside Danilo Magnani in 16th. Marco Keddy 17th with Lorenzo Vasarani in 18th. Daniel Togni 19th, and Emmanuel Raggi is going to be in 20th place. 21st is going to be Lucas Verkov, 22nd Manuel Catalona, and then we're going to have Oliver Gela 23rd, Mads Graveson 24th, Loris Guaglio 25th, and then Matthias Bogdanovic will be 26th, Max Oliger 27th, Adam Penzies 28th, Alessandro Matoli 29th, and Stefan Kraling is going to be 30th. Then we're going to have George Clarkson 31st, Rodolfo Lunardi 32nd, Jacopo Carai 33rd, Luke Pennington 34th, Matteo Baldinini is 35th, Lorenzo Benelli 36th, Miles Clarkson 37th, Gabriel Crepesi 38th, and Fabio Carrera is going to be 39th. And there you go. That was so easy. But qualifying is finished, yeah. So everyone now is going to sit in their setups. They're going to be thinking about, okay, what is the race strategy? They're going to be making some tweaks now. Let's have a look at the temperatures on the track. So 19 and 23, exactly the same as qualifying. So if they've done, which I'm sure they have, if they've done their homework, they'll have those tyre pressures set. And now it's a case of, well, what do we do with that? What do we actually do with that setup? Do we decide that we're going to go for a shorter run at the beginning, so do we fuel light and pit early and that 20-minute pit window, or do we go flat 50-50, or do we run longer, or are we going to change things on the fly? There's a lot that can obviously happen during this. And Emmanuel, hold on a moment. So we've got some people in on Twitch. Good evening, ladies and gents. Good to see you all in there. So Emmanuel Real has just done a follow on the Twitch channel, so thanks for that. So I'm sure ERS are very grateful. Ricardo's in saying Vasai, obviously supporting, and obviously Emmanuel Real is supporting Andrea, I do believe, indeed. So if you're watching on the Twitch channel, that's fantastic. If anyone's watching on the YouTube channel or my one, that would be great. If you leave a like at the same time, every little helps. As we get a formation lap underway for this evening, they will do a full formation lap, of course, and again, you'll hear me say this every single week. What's the point of them doing that? He is on fire. I 100% agree. And Jay Martins is in. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you're well. We have just completed our qualifying session, so we're on formation lap for this race. Again, just to remind you all, it is going to be a 65-minute race. They have to do one mandatory stop for tyres, and there is a 20-minute pit window. Fuel is optional. So, who knows? Marco Barocca has also just left a follow as well, so thank you very much, which is fantastic to see. And let me just check. We have race gaps, please. That will do for me. Okay. 1. Okay, that's all set up. Okay, we are good. Again, yes, so, come on, Petrosini. Okay, yes, indeed. Well, again, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? The top 2, got some followers with them. This is why we love doing the shows and the broadcasts. It's always good to see someone's rather seriously trying to warm up their tyres there, aren't they? No doubt at all. And that's essentially... Come on, boys. Stop driving through each other. And that is the point of the formation app, isn't it? It's to put the heat cycles through the tyres. It's to make sure that everything is as it should be, and make sure they are as close to being perfect within the operating window as possible. And, well, you know, we're getting down into turn 1, down into Crowthorne. It's going to be heavy braking, so you're going to have a lot of guys all concertinaing up down there into T1, so you've got to make sure you're giving yourself the best opportunity to survive as possible. Love the layout you use for the race info, super clean. Thank you, Mr. Story, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. And Keddy is getting some support from Mr. Junior Hughes. Not surprised there for one moment. So as we come round, better have a little drink of H2O before we get going. You can tell we're about to almost get running at the moment because they've all now formed up a 2x2 as they go through Cheetah. They're going to be nervous. They are going to be nervous. They are going to be thinking about their strategy. They're going to be thinking, okay, how are we going to play this? Where do I need to position my car? Not just for the first corner, but for a number of corners, just so that they can make sure they're giving themselves an opportunity not to be passed. So anyway, on to the start-finish straight. Are you ready? This is the European Racing Series Season 1X, Round 3 at Kyalami, and we are just about to get underway for what promises to be an awesome 65 minutes of racing, and we are across the line. We are good to go. Green, 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 and off they go. And that was a fabulous start by Petrosini there. And we've got 4 abreast on the run down towards Crowthorne. Let's keep it clean, boys and girls. Let's keep it clean. Let's go on Helicam for a moment just so we can see. Well, I would, but it's pausing on me, which is not ideal. Looks clean. I just saw some dust being kicked up at the back though. And let's see, why is that not changing? Okay, so we have had a few incidents there. It's given me a lot of numbers on my right hand side showing me, and now it decides it's going to change onto Helicam. Right, upshot is Petrosini has managed to get the jump on Andrea in through, well, not even through turn 1. That was literally straight out the bag, so wasn't really too much Andrea could do about that. Pit 6 running in 3rd place at the moment. Fazekas is staying in 4th. Kellaway, I think, has moved up there. Perez is in 6th. Brugnara, Samuel 7th. And Mattia Brugnara, wow, we did say last week there's a lot at stake within that household, and those two are absolutely nose to tail, as you can see. We shall have a look at that in a moment. Let's get down nice and low with Andrea so we can see what's going on behind and we can see what's going on in front. So he's in the sandwich at the moment. Early doors, yeah, we don't want to be pushing those tyres too hard, but then obviously he's not going to want to let Petrosini get away. Same token, got to keep Pitzik behind. We know how quick Pitzik is. Just going a bit further down the field, Christian Stock lost a position there. He's in 9th at the moment. Ricardo Paggi rounds out your top 10. Then we've got Catricala, Apostle, so Sebastian evidently got caught up in some form of incident there because obviously he qualified in 5th place. So let's see as they all come down having completed their first lap. And that should not be there, should it? I'm going to move that. There we go. That will change next that comes round. Got to make sure those things look okay for everybody that is following. Recovering myself, so Jan and JR are both poorly. That is a shame. Get better, guys. Lemsip, chicken soup, I don't know. They always seem to do the trick, don't we? So Andrea's putting some pressure on now. Putting some pressure on, most certainly. Right, if this thing would stay, there we go. So it was given... my software's kind of being like my daughter this evening, being very headstrong and kind of doing what it wants. And she's only 4, so... Anyway, Petrosini, it's got a half-second gap to Andrea. Then we've got 0.8 back to Pitzik, Fazekas in 4th, Kellaway in 5th, and then Perez in 6th. You can see they're all closely gapped, as you would expect. We're only a couple of laps into the race at the moment. Perez 6th, Bugnara 7th and 8th, Stocks 9th, Paggy's 10th. Apostle has managed to make a place up there, so up to 11th. Catricala's moved down to 12th, is only 0.4 though, so let's go and have a look at Catricala, because these guys seem to be pretty close at the moment, don't we? So let's get on board, let's have a look at the back of Sebastian's beautiful livery there, with the ERS logo embossed right on that rear bumper as he gets himself all out of shape coming out of Cheetah there into Ingwe. Again, it's, you know, it's a difficult one. Catricala is evidently pushing hard, you could see that. That's why we went a little bit wayward. And we know the Ferrari. I'm going to say this to you guys every week. If you ever find yourself thinking about, well, which car should I choose within ACC, because they're all very different, they all handle differently, you know, they're all balanced differently, they accelerate differently, brake differently, there's a million things to consider. Have a look on my YouTube channel, there's a little section on there called Coops Cars. It's only sort of three-minute bite-sized reviews on each car and what my opinions are. Might give you something to do when you're bored. Mr. Keane is in. Good evening, Keno. Hope you're well. Middle of the week, so we're getting there. We are getting there, and what better way to spend a middle of the week day than watching some fantastic racing here at Kyalami, as Catricala getting a little bit out of shape. The Ferrari, you know, she can be very petulant. She's not stable like the Beamer, for instance, or the Aston. She does like to cause trouble. So at the top we've still got Petrosini is still in the lead, Andrea still second, Pitzik, Fazekas, Kellaway, Perez, Bugnara. Samuel's still leading Mattia there, and then Christian Stocks having a good race himself. Apostle is now only 3/10 behind Paggy, so we know that he's got pace, there's no doubt about that at all. So let's have a look and see how he can manage to close that gap down and maybe get a move done as we fly through Cheetah. You gotta miss that sausage curb, yeah, you have to. If you touch that sausage curb on the right hand side, it's such a quick change of direction. You are going to one place only, as Perez pits. Well, the pit window is not open, so I'm assuming Perez has damage. That's very interesting. So that's going to be detrimental to that race for sure. Right, let's keep an eye on that. We've got some good battles developing at the moment, haven't we? Kellaway and Fazekas, they are also having a decent battle, and these two, well, we've got a nice train. We do have a nice train at the moment. I think I've got down to Catricala in 11th, so Magnani's running 12th. He's got himself a 3.1 second gap over Vasarani, then Zverkov in 14th. Well, we need to look at that. That is too close. That is too close, and as you can see, that move has just been done. We got there just in time, but as you can see, he's got himself a little gaggle of friends behind him, hasn't he? Putting some serious pressure on there. And nothing like a bit of self-promotion, Luca, on that rear wing. I like that a lot. And who was that who's just decided to die in the ward? Vasarani, as well, evidently, probably just got a little bit loose on the back end, and that just flew straight off into the wall, which is good for Zverkov, because that gives him a little bit of breathing space, although not much, because Centurino looks pretty racy in that Porsche. Bogdanovic is 15th, Kelly 16th, Catalano is 17th. Then we've got Guaglio's in 18th, Vasarani's now down in 19th position. Evidently looks like he is back on track. So we'll see how all of these individuals, how their battles develop. We are, 7 minutes into the race, 3 laps completed on lap 4. Guys, Audi and Porsche, it's like a death sentence, that is. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I love the Porsche. I think the Porsche is absolutely amazing, but it's not something that I've ever actually been able to tame. So Vasarani's 20th, Lenardi's in 21st position. Let's run through the rest of the grid, and then we'll have a look for some really close fights, just to bring everybody up to date. Mads Graveson's 21st. Oh, we got 2 of them. We've got a McLaren and the Audi getting a little bit out of shape, going through Crowthorne there, onto the brakes. Let's watch ourselves. Let's not have any contact, and that move is, wow, quite nicely done. So Togni's in 22nd, Oliver Gerler's 23rd, Perez is now down to 24th, Miles Clarkson's 25th, Lenardi's 26th. You could see the speed that Porsche was able to take and closing up onto the back of that Audi there. Ragni's 27th, Penzi's is 28th, steady on. Matoli's 29th, Luke Pennington's running in 30th, so he's made up a few places. George Clarkson, as we go through the S's, is in 31st place, Carrera's 32nd, Lee Dorman's 33rd, Jacopo Carai is 34th, Benelli 35th, Baldinini is 36th, and Crepesi is 37th. We did start the race with 39 drivers, so evidently we've had a couple leave. Hopefully that's, well, not in a nice way, but hopefully they were disconnections and not rage quits, as we watch this battle raging at the moment for 13th and 14th place. On those brakes into Crocodiles, get it tucked in a bit more, squeeze that throttle now. You're going to get a good run on that Audi, but the Audi goes slightly wide just to carry a little bit more pace through there up towards Cheetah. Just got to balance. You've got to balance those two cars massively and then hard onto the brakes, trail in towards Ingwe, and we're going to start ourselves another lap. So fantastic driving from you boys, always great to see. And we've got another battle developing behind. Who have we got behind there? So Bogdanovic and Keddy. Wow, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Anyone who watches my shows regularly will know that I do have a slight penchant for the noise that comes out of that Aston. It makes me very happy. It really does. So we'll have a listen to the Aston as it's being chased and harassed by that FRL liveried McLaren of Keddy there in 16th place. Just behind them we've got Catalano in his Nissan. Again, you know, doing pretty well actually. I'm quite impressed with that, to be fair. Any of you in the live chat, either on YouTube, just drop me a message, drop me a like. If you want to ask any questions, let me know who you're supporting. Similarly, anyone that's watching on the ERS Twitch channel, don't be shy, get involved. We all like to have a bit of a chat. Give us your thoughts on the race so far, or anything that you think needs to be improved on the stream, so that I can, you know, try and bring you guys exactly what you want every single week. Yeah, decent battle going on here. So let's quick look at the other times. No change at the top. So Petrosini is still out up front. Andrea, no, Petrosini's not. Petrosini's had an off. You can see that. Oh dear, oh dear. So normally I would now press replay, but there has been an issue with this software over the last couple of weeks, and it just pauses. Is the pit wall server on? Alessandro, I would assume so. I don't use Pitwall, so maybe drop a message to Joel. I'm sure it will be on, but I don't use Pitwall, mate. I use a different software. We got a drive-through. No, drive-through cleared. Okay. So someone's had themselves a little drive-through. So after all of that situation going on there, Andrea finds himself in first place, which is obviously going to please some of his fans that are watching this evening. Pitzik is moved up to second. Fazekas is now on the podium in third place, so that's good going by him, as it certainly kicks up a bit of dust there. Jason Kellaway's having a very, very solid race at the moment in fourth, isn't he? In his Aston Martin, closely followed by Samuel Brugnara, and then also rather closely followed by Matteo Petrosini. Obviously still holds fastest lap of the race, and he is now between, well, he's the meat and the Brugnara sandwich basically, because Matteo Brugnara is in 7th place. Sebastian Apostol's managed to work his way up to 8th, so that's pretty good going from him. Christian Stock 9th, Catricala is in the top 10. So close battles, what have we got going on track at the moment? This one is your closest battle, so I think we should enjoy it. Yeah, I think we shall. And it's back to Luka Sverkov. Seems to like, well, these two seem to be a bit yin and yangy, don't they? I mean, well, are we going to have a move into Cheetah? That was a very interesting placement on the car, and has that move been done? Not yet. They're side by side as they go towards. Wow, that was brave. And in terms of racecraft and situational awareness, I say this all the time as well. Thank you very much, Alessandro. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream at the moment. That's a big heart warmer. Thanks very much, mate. I appreciate it. P.S. Go on to my YouTube channel and leave a like. That would be even better as well. But yeah, these two, that was really good racecraft, and you can see the Sverkov's gone really defensive inside line there. really defensive, and they are nose to tail. But look what's happening. These two are scrapping that much, which is fantastic for us to watch, but that's drawing in Bogdanovic, Keddy, and Catalano. So we've got a 5-way scrap here for 13th spot, which is what I absolutely love about sim racing and ACC. When we get involved with the leagues, you've got really good driving standards. Everyone is respectful, everyone is thinking about their own race, but moreover, you know, what they're actually doing in the car and how that affects everyone else. I think I want Bogdanovic because he is slap bang in the middle of all of this action. So he's looking at these two in front of him thinking, in a nice way, come on boys, take each other off so I can gain 2 places. But he's looking in his mirror and he's thinking, will this Keddy guy just leave me alone for 5 minutes and let me get a little bit more rhythm? It's really difficult being in this situation because not only is he trying to find a way, like, so at the moment, like, Bogdanovic at the moment is watching these two in front. He's got to preempt what they're going to do, because if they have an off or a touch or a crash or something like that, as we can see, Sverkov goes really defensive, and more interestingly took the inside line that time into Cheetah Crocodiles rather than the outside. So he's driving very defensively at the moment, and that Porsche got on the cut. I told you, got to miss that sausage curb, and that allows Bogdanovic to close right up onto his tail. Again, there's no way through there, so he's thinking to himself, how can I get past this guy? Where are they weak? Where are their weak points? Where are they doing better where I think I can put my car in a position where I can make a move or open up a door? But at the same time, he knows he's got 2 really quick drivers. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. And I did say that could potentially happen. So he looked like he was trying to go down the outside there, and that didn't work out too well for him. So again, there's a lot on your mind. You're thinking about what's going on behind, thinking about how you can attack the guys in front, and so Bogdanovic loses a couple of spots there, which is certainly unfortunate because I was really enjoying that battle, and that, again, that's allowed Sverkov now just to get away from Centurino a tiny bit. I'm sure they're going to be back with each other very shortly, and Catalano in the Nissan. Let's have a quick listen to that Nissan, shall we? As we go through the S's. Underrated, have to say. I think the Nissan is very underrated. 8 laps complete on lap 9. We are 15 minutes into the race. So remember what we were saying earlier on. We have a 20-minute pit window. So you're probably looking, what are we saying, 22.5 minutes into the race through to 42 minutes in and a half, I would suggest. So that's going to be your pit window. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone is going to take fuel and tyres, or whether everyone's just fueled for the entire race and are just going to look to do a tyre stop. And again, we'll talk about pit stops as they start to happen, so that you can all understand a little bit more on what they're actually doing in their pit stops, because it's not just what you think. It's not just, I'm going to pull into the pits. There's a lot involved in it, which we'll go through. We will go through that. Back at the front of the grid, so Andrea is still leading at the moment, as you can see there in the 33 Aston Martin. That lead is shortening though, so we've only got 0.7 seconds back to Pitzik, which is not a lot of time at all really. Fazekas is running in third, a further 1.3 down the road. Kellaway's in fourth, Brugnara fifth. Petrosini again is managing to work his way back through the field. Is Matteo in sixth place, only 0.3 behind Brugnara, and these two are only half a second between them as well. So I think we're going to start getting challenges as we're getting up towards. Oh no, he's got a 10-second penalty. That is bad news. Thank you for letting me know, Alessandro. That is bad news. That's not going to help his race, considering the pace of everybody and how closely packed they are realistically. So if he comes in, it's not just a 10-second penalty though, is it? I mean, that might be added to the end. So I haven't had a drive-through notification, so I'm assuming that's going to go on the end. But even if that was added to him now, all as Pitzik gets rather close into braking into Ingwe there as we start another lap. I think Andrea is in a little bit of trouble here. Maybe a tyre issue. Maybe we've burnt those tyres up a little bit. I mean they should be okay. They should be okay. We don't have massively hot track temperatures, as you can see. Pit 6 getting very close, and again, so Fazekas, who now actually holds the fastest lap of the race with a 140.535, he's beginning to close up in third place as well. So maybe Andrea's pace has dropped just a tad, and that's backing Pitzik up in towards Fazekas because he's now under a second. We've only got another 1.4 seconds further back, and then you've got Jason Kellaway in fourth. So it is all beginning to develop. It is beginning to develop. I'm going to stay on this battle as I have a quick look down the grid at everybody else and what they're. So, positional gains, let's just make everybody aware. So, the biggest mover in terms of gaining positions so far is Miles Clarkson, actually, who's gained 10 spots, which is fantastic. Qualified, started in 37th, and he's now running in 27th. The biggest loser so far, Perez, is down in 36th place, obviously qualified 11th, so that is a big shame for him. But Lee Dortmund, who qualified in 12th, the 101 car is down 14 places, unfortunately down to 26th. But at the top, everyone is pretty much as they were. We've got one position here, one position there. Kellaway's your biggest mover in the top, I'd say in the top 10. He's managed to move up 4 places. Petrosini's obviously dropped 4 because of that incident that we had earlier on. So again, that's just giving you guys a little bit more information. Yes, Sebastian. Yes, I do have a facility for replays. Okay, next time I'll do a replay for you, and you'll then understand why that needs to be tweaked. Okay, normally it works like a charm, but for the last 3 weeks, for some reason, when I'm actually requesting those replays, it freezes for ages, and then you get the very end of the replay, which I'll show you one. I will show you one so you understand, but I don't think it looks particularly professional, which is why I haven't been doing them. Anyway, I'm back on board with Petrosini in 6th place. Remember, he's trying his hardest to get himself back up the grid, and we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it was an unfortunate incident that he had. We know he's got really good pace. He absolutely bolted off the line, didn't he, to take P1 from the start of this race. Qualified a very, very close P2 as well, so we'll see. Brugnara 7th, Apostle again, he's done well, he's worked his way up to 8th. Christian Stocks in 9th, only 0.7 behind Sebastian now. So Christian Stocks seems to be coming at him quite nicely. And then we've got Catricale 10th, Magnani in 11th. We're getting some slightly more elongated gaps as we go a little bit further down the field. And we've got another close battle on there. Again, Keddy and Sverkov now. So let's have a look at these two. We seem to be just changing, don't we? Let's have a look on board. Let's see what Keddy's doing in car in terms of how he's driving. Is he being smooth? Is he being erratic? Is he having to sort the wheel? What is that McLaren doing? I know Keddy well. I'm sure that McLaren's going to be a very well behaved. Touchwood, commentator's curse doesn't now just throw it off the track as we come up towards Crocodiles. Heavy braking zone, get it down into first, get it tucked in. And Lucas Sverkov there. The car's moving around a little bit as we come up towards Cheetah. Both nice and smooth through there on the brakes into Ingwe, get the car tucked in. Apex, squeeze the throttle as he's opening up that steering there, just so he can carry as much momentum through there as possible. So a nice battle again between these two. So Zverkov is having a very eventful evening. Just behind we've got Catalona, and we've then got Bogdanovic, who, remember, was slap bang in the middle of this scrap, and then unfortunately had himself a slight wander off the field. But we do have an outlier missing from there, which we need to have a look at. Keddy all over the back, trying to find a line, trying to force his way through. And Sverkov just defending, just placing the Audi exactly where he needs to. Go boys, go. Petrosini and Brugnara, they've swapped positions, and they look okay. Nothing too bad on there at the moment. They all look alright. So that's good for Petrosini. He's managed to gain another spot, and that puts Brugnara back into the position that he was earlier on, in terms of he's now going to have a battle with Mattia Brugnara for position as we go through Leocott. You can see they are absolutely nose to tail. Do not touch. Oh, wow. I mean, how close do you want it? Right, I'm going to try the replay. See if there you go. Look, it's froze, Sebastian. And okay, then it shows it. They did touch just slightly. Okay, so we'll utilise that. we'll utilise it a little bit more going forward. And then back to the race. Obviously, I decided to show you the replay, and we then ended up missing the move. So Keddy does manage to finally find a way to get past that rather wide Audi of Luka Zverkov, and you know, he's having a great day. He's battling, he's having some fun. You just heard the call in your ears, as I did. Pit window is open. Zverkov dives down the inside towards Crowthorne. He is going to try and make that move stick. Pushes Keddy wide a little bit. Does get that move done under braking. That was some fantastic driving, I have to say, by Luka. And luckily we've got all over the back as well. So Catalano in the Nissan fancies a go. Bogdanovic is back in there as well. And it is absolutely non-stop. So thank you following. Efroland has just followed as well on the ERS Twitch stream. Thank you very much. Wallers decided to make a comment straight away about Mr. Perez. I can't comment on that. I don't know what the incident is. I'm sure they will be stewarding after the race, and there will be an opportunity to put any incidents in should you feel there need to be one. Froland. But there you go. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream, my friend. That's what we're all here for. So Kelly's trying again, finds himself now in a position where he's trying to get that position back. Andrea's still leading. Pitzik is still in second place. Just to give you guys an update, Fazakas is still third. Kellaway still fourth. Petrosini is up to fifth. Samuel Brugnara is just ahead of Matteo Brugnara, and Christian Stock has just lost a position, not because he got overtaken, but because he has decided to come into the pits. I've got another one in the pits as well, so quite a few. Dortmund, Penzies, Pennington, Karai, Clarkson and Lunardi are also in to get their pit stop done. Ricardo Paggi decides to come in and stop as well. So it's going to start getting busy now. Yeah, this is where the strategy comes in. The pit window has very, very shortly been opened, so people are obviously deciding to get in a set of tyres in these weather conditions. It's 19 ambient, 23 on track. A new set of tyres will easily carry them to the end of the race now. So that's probably what they're thinking, is just to get the stop done, potentially get themselves back into some clean air if they were involved in a lot of incidents, or certainly in some very close racing, and hopefully get some undercuts on the way as Kenny leads this pack. Catalano's managed to get a move done, and Bogdanovic there just getting himself a little bit out of shape, loses that position to Loris Guaglio, who manages to elevate his 22 Ferrari. He's now moved himself up to 14th place. We've got Oliver Geller in 16th, Togni 17th, then we've got Mads Graveson, there he is. I'm trying to find some more close battles going on, but that one we've been watching at the moment, ladies and gents, currently seems to be your closest gaggle, so I feel we should stay on it, and therefore we will, as we let the camera catch up to where it needs to be. So we've got teammates here actually, Catalano and Guaglio. You can see they're both in the same livery. One is in the Nissan and one is in the Ferrari, so good to see them. Obviously into team pride at stake for these two, so they're going to want to get a shift on. What's the first rule of racing apart from finishing? Beat your teammate. So we'll see if they can work together or not. Geller's in 16th, Togni is 17th, Graveson is in 18th place, Matoli is currently in 19th, and then Raggi's in 20th. Morris Clarkson down in 21st place. Fabio Carrera is in 22nd. Christian Stock, who has pitted, remember, is in 23rd. Benelli 24th. Oliga is in 25th place, and Lukas Verkov, I assume, has pitted. He's down in 26th. Paggi's 27th. Dortmund is 28th. Vasarani 29th, and then in 30th place we've got Baldinini. Lunardi's just put a move on Luke Pennington. I'll get to that in a moment. Penzi's 31st, and then we've got Lunardi 32nd, Jacobo Karai 33rd, Perez in 34th, and Pennington's gone into the pits, hence why that move was made. George Clarkson is currently no he's not, Luke is propping up the grid in 36th place. However, again, you remember we started with more than that, but we've obviously had a few people leave or get disconnected, whatever that may be, we don't know. But back at the front, I think we should give this a little bit more time now, because we are getting into pit window territory. Yeah, strategy. We've got Aston on Aston, closely followed, may I add, by that rather racy looking Honda. So on the way down through the kink, we go down towards Throwhorns. Don't take your teammate out first, says Dave Keane. It depends on how you define teammate. Yeah, potentially. Like, if it was me and Timmy, I'd just take him out. But if it was like you and Michael, there'd be a lot more love there. That's what I feel. Potentially. You guys won't know Timmy Blunder yet. You will do as the season progresses. He's my teammate. But I don't let him do comms because he's not very good. He's very good. Anyway, so this is the battle for the lead. So we've got 0.5 between Andrea. As you can see, he's just in front of us as we're coming up towards the S's. We're on board with Pitzik at the moment. Fazekas is currently in third place, still holding the fastest lap of the race with a 1:45.35. Kino says fair enough. On the way up towards Learcott. So Kellaway, Kellaway's having a decent race. It's got to be said. I mean, I don't know if he'll feel slightly frustrated. He's in fourth at the moment. He's 1.5 to 2 seconds. That keeps fluctuating through, obviously, depending on what sector we're on, behind Fazekas. But he has got himself almost a 6-second gap back towards Petrosini, who we know is trying to come back through the field as we go through Crocodiles. We've now got back markers, you can see, just in front of us going up through Cheetah. So that is also something else. It's another consideration. And he's diving. Pitzik is going in for an early pit stop. He wants an undercut. So we're going to talk about the pit stops. Again, Kellaway's having a good race, as I was just saying. So, pit stops as we watch Pitzik come in. So as he does that, who should we have a little watch of? Let's have a look at Fazekas. Yeah, as that pit stop takes place. So we were talking about pit stops earlier. There's a couple of ways to do pit stops, and you need to think about, when you're working out your race strategy, which, believe me, all of these drivers will do. They're not just going to get in their rig and just press go. They will have done their practice. They will have looked at the track conditions. They will have worked out, okay, how long are the tyres going to last if I'm pushing them? What type of fuel? What difference is that going to give me in lap time? And then when they work all those bits back to the pit stop, they're then thinking about, okay, so how much time am I going to lose in the pits? Yeah, where do I need to be braking to get into the pit lane to start with without, going over in terms of speeding and getting themselves a stop-go penalty? So they'll know that absolutely nailed on. Then there's two ways to do pit stop. You can do manual pit stop, or you could do an automatic pit stop. Automatic is the one where you drive in and you get into your box and it does it all for you. Manual is where, as you're pulling into your box, you're already cutting the engine, you're in the box. As they're finishing the pit stop, you're starting your engine up and off you go. And there's a difference of around 5 seconds. Better off for you if you're doing a manual pit stop. So this is what I'm saying. There's a lot to the pit stop. Yeah, the total time in that pit stop, you have to think about that, and how that could potentially affect your race. Incidentally, on your screens, how do we know if people have done the pit stop? Well, you can see lots of them have got that sort of goldish, dark gold 1 next to their names, and others have got a green stripe. So the 1 means you've got a pit stop to do, and the green stripe denotes pit stop complete. You can race until the end. So that just, in case you didn't know, not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, just laying it out there. But yeah, there we go. So let's get back on board with some more action. So Fazekas, he's doing pretty well, isn't he? So he's a second behind Andrea at the moment. Kellaway's obviously elevated himself up to third spot because Pitzik is in the pits. Bugnara, those two are still having their battle. Samuel is still ahead. Let's have a look at that. So the Bugnara battle. So the number 9 Audi is Samuel, and then we've got a Ferrari and an Audi, the 29. Obviously, they're running the same livery, but again, you couldn't really have 2 cars, which, I mean, do you need... There's enough to think about already. Don't get me wrong, I drive the Ferrari. I love that Ferrari. I'm not 100% au fait with the Audi. I haven't given her enough seat time, but these two are having a cracking little battle, aren't they? 0.7 between them at the moment. Sebastian has got himself up to 6th place. Let's have a quick look at him, because his livery is available tonight. Look at it. That's livery number 533 from what he showed me earlier on. And then back to the Bugnara battle. We have to keep our eye on these two because they, we know it went one way last week. Magnani is in 7th, Centurini 8th, Gala is in 10th, and Graveson brings up your top 10. And then obviously you've got Pitzik, as you can see, in 11th place, has completed his pit stop. So it's going to be very interesting to see when Andrea or Fazekas comes into the pits, and this is where we're going to figure out, did they fully fuel or did they need to add fuel? Yeah, because obviously we'll see that differential in the time. So for instance, pit 6 total time in the pits was 35.4 seconds. That was the stop there, as Santorini comes into the pits, and Bogdanovic is getting blue flag there as the Brugnara boys come up to get a pass done and put a lap on him. Bogdanovic moves out of the way, but I mean, you know, we're taking. I know you don't want to lose any time under blue flags, which is fair enough. And Fazekas, we have to change this, ladies and gents. I do apologise, but as you can see, Fazekas and his Honda, as we are in the middle of traffic, is making some headway and is 0.3 behind. Now all this is doing is helping Pitzik. This is all helping Pitzik at the moment, because Pitzik has completed that stop. These two, are battling each other, which either way you look at it is going to hold them up. Yeah, it may be a tenth there, a couple of hundredths there. It's going to be holding them up every single lap. And they are in the middle of traffic, which again is also going to play a part, because you've got to have your eye on other things that are going on. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if either of these two decides to drop it in the pits right now because of the traffic they've got ahead of them. And Andrea goes into the pits, so now it's game on. So Fazekas stays out. Interesting choice, obviously deciding to go on an alternative strategy there, but this is where it gets interesting now, because Andrea is in the pits. We know that this chap, Pitzik, has already completed his pit stop, is currently running in P9, but he is probably being held up a little bit by Graveson. So you can see, wants to get that move done. He might have someone as a spotter for him. He may have another screen with Pitbull or something like that on, so he will know what's going on around him and needed to get that move done on Graveson, because you don't want to be losing too much time. As well, is this going to be a good move, Fazekas? Yeah, is it the move that you need to do? Do you think the guys in front of you have enough pace and will get out of the way for the blue flags? And again, please, I don't mean they should be jumping out of the way. As you can see, clearly going to be being held up here. There's three in front fighting, and he's going to be losing time. Definitely going to be losing time on that front. In fact, we can compare to Pitzik. We can actually have a look at that and see how Fazekas' lap is getting on compared to Pitzik on their last lap. So he's staying out at the moment. Pitzik is there. Where is our man Andrea? So Andrea's out, as you can see, P9. So let's have a look at the pit time. 42.6 seconds. Pitzik, as you can see quite clearly on your screens, is in P6. So not only has Pitzik managed to jump Andrea in the pits, yeah, again, I'm thinking Andrea's probably fueled till the end, because that total pit time was 35.4 seconds for Pitzik. Andrea's total time was 42.6. Now, if you remember me saying about doing a manual or an automatic stop, if he'd done an automatic stop, he's going to be looking at around 41 seconds. So it may just be that. It may just have been an automatic stop rather than a manual. I doubt that with the guys at this level. So that's probably putting some fuel in the car, I do believe. So that puts Pitzik net at this stage of P1. So Fazekas is in the pits. Right, let's see what happens then. So Pitzik is evidently running. Fazekas is in the pits. Magnani's in the pits. Brugnara 1 and 2. Samuel and Manuel are also in the pits. As you can see, Pitzik is now just coming round onto the start-finish straight. Is anybody moving out of those pits yet? No, Fazekas is still. Fazekas is out. Okay, fair enough. And there's Pitzik. So, Fazekas, that was the right decision by him in the end. Please show me M6 BMW. Hold on a moment. Well, sorry, Efraland, give me a name, please, my friend. Give me a name, and I'll find it for you, or a number. Because there's quite a lot of beamers in it, and obviously I don't have on my screen which one is in the M6 without going through every single one of those. So, upshot of the pit stops is Fazekas decided to stay out. I questioned that, and I genuinely thought Fazekas was losing quite a bit of time behind those 3 back markers there, but evidently it was enough for him to get in and out of the pits. If we just compare his time, Fazekas's pit stop was a 32.9, so Fazekas ended up making up three and a bit seconds over Pitzik, which is what's made him jump him. And obviously if we look at Andrea, that was 42.6. that's almost 10 seconds quicker. You want to have a look at Penzies? Yes, certainly I will go and have a look at Penzies once we get this particular battle done, because this is for the lead. I'm sure you appreciate that, FOLAN, but I will move on to Penzies as soon as I can come off this particular battle, my friend. No problem at all. Sebastian Apostle is staying out. He's trying to run as long as possible. Graveson is in the pits, as you can see on your screen at the moment. So once we've got through the first couple of corners, Adam Penzies is in 25th place. I'll have a look at him in a moment. Let's get through Crowthorne. Let's not see if we've got any mad dives up the inside. No, but you can see Pitzik is really close, isn't he? I mean, we know he's absolutely rapid. I was super impressed with him last week, and he's doing it again, isn't he? So, just so you know, my finger is right on top of Penzies at the moment. Yeah. So as soon as we get this bit done, I'll move it on for you. Who's that? 108 in front, is it? Moves out of the way. Wise move. So there's your man. Here's your man. You can tell that's the M6. I just want to hear the down change before we look at the livery. I love it. Sounds like a little shotgun, doesn't it? And there you go. There you go, FLM. There is your M6 for Adam Penzies. The number 7 BMW currently running in 25th place at the moment. 1.5 seconds behind Raggy in 24th, and he's got himself a decent 2.6 seconds back to Carrera at the moment. Now, if I go back to the top of the timesheet, are they still in the same position? They are indeed. Got to keep on board with this one, I'm afraid. This is just too close. Too close. Let's just see what their last laps were, actually. So there you go. I mean, that's obviously the lap when they've come in and done that pit stop. So you can see there is a 5.7 second difference there, and that's also that's a bit better, isn't it? That's the current lap we've just finished. 5 thousandths between them. How close do you guys want it? You almost killed the pink pig last night. Yes, you did. Indeed, I like the M6. I've got to say, I really do enjoy the M6. I love the soundtrack on the car, and she's, you know, obviously the M4 came in and everyone started getting a bit crazy, and the BOP was very much towards the M4 being the OP car, but I think, you know, she's definitely been reined in a little bit. And Nils obviously said, I'm sure a lot of you watch Nils and other famous YouTube streamers, not just me. One day, as the 108 gets out of the way, which is a wise move in that Bentley, and Pitzik needs to get a shift on and just get that move done. Does now, but look at their last lap. Look at that first sector. There was a tenth between them there, and then that was taken back in sector 2 and sector 3. 5 thousandths between these two individuals, and obviously we're green to go until the end of the race, so we don't have to worry about pit stops anymore. So we're going to be very interested to see how all of that develops. And there you go, you can have another one. Look, there you go, another one. Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen. Let's see how he's driving. If he crashes now, it's your fault, Efroland, not my fault, okay? Right, who's that? So Paggy's looking pretty close in 15th place behind Oligat, which is pretty good. Let's keep an eye on this. So Andrea's now taking the quickest lap of the race with a 1:44.95, and Apostle is pitting from first place. So let's see if his longest stint potentially in clean air can move him up the grid in terms of net position, as Adam's doing pretty well here. He's putting this he's putting Raggy under a lot of pressure, isn't he? A little bit of understeer there. You saw the slight correction on the wheel. Clip up from driver's view. I still can't believe I missed what I wanted. What are you chatting about, Briz? Oh, Mr. Brizzle's... Oh, you put a clip up from the driver's view. Okay, good. Good. I want to see that. I'll have a look at it after the race, mate. Anyway, into the S's. So again, you've got two very different cars. You know, the M6 is obviously a bit of a beast. She's quite large. You've got the Honda in front, and that thing is definitely OP at the moment. Join the community. Wow, here we go. The Stream Elements is getting on it, and Heathrow Land likes it. Remember what I said, dude? Think about the YouTube channel as well. This is all for you, yeah? Giving you what you want. Yeah. Fazekas is still leading at the moment. Pit window is closed. Anybody not completed their stops? Let me have a little look down the grid. No, I think everyone is either in the pits or has completed, which is good. We don't want any DSQs or massive penalties. People not sticking to the rules as we go for that Honda. See ya, bye. I'm going to replay. Let's see what it looks like. And you just saw the Honda. I told you, got to stay away from that sausage curb. We just clipped it slightly, back end's letting go, and there's only one place you're going then, and that unfortunately is to the wall. And Adam Penzies is flashing me down the pit straight, which is very nice of you, but I don't know why you're doing it. Probably to say you're going to let the leaders through, which is very, very kind of you. Right, anyway, let's move away from that. Oh, and that was convenient, wasn't it? The leaders have just gone past him. So Kellaway is still running. Let's have a look at Jason Kellaway in the 23 Aston Martin. I did say earlier on, he's having a very good race, quite steady, nothing massively crazy going on for him, just being consistent, just making sure he has good, steady pace. And that's rewarding him at the moment because he's running in third place. Andrea, well, we know how quick Andrea is running in fourth, currently with another fastest lap of the race at 1:40.365. In fact, I believe that is missing from mine. There we go. I can access that now. Petrosini is having a bit of a comeback race still, running in fifth place. So obviously he's not going to be over the world with fifth place, considering he was comfortably, I'm not talking big gap comfortably, but in terms of driving at the beginning of the race, was comfortably holding that lead position. Samuel Brugnara and Matteo Brugnara are still having their battle. They're 6th and 7th respectively. Sebastian Apostel, after his pit stop, has ended up coming out back in 8th place, so no change for him. But who's that? So that was a 108. Who's the 108? That is Miles Clarkson in his Bentley. Is he having a tough time? Well, he's not having the best of evenings, I would suggest. Bentley is she's probably understeering absolutely everywhere. And wow, look at that. I mean, Sebastian just drove straight round the outside of him through Crocodile there. So he isn't having the best race at the moment. And is that Lunardi just behind him? It is. So Rodolfo Lunardi in the 375 BMW. Nice livery on that. I managed to chuck that on earlier on today. So he's looking. This is for position, remember. This is for 27th and 28th. So again, I say it all the time. You can see on your screen there's some quite large gaps there. I need to have a look at Togney though. Where is he? Where is Mr. Togney? Ah, well, we just missed that one as well, haven't we? Well, this is steady, chap, steady. So Kellaway has just lost that position to Andrea. So maybe there was a mistake there because that's quite a gap, isn't it? So Fazekas and Pitzik are now 7.5 seconds down the road from Andrea and Kellaway, and that is now 0.2. And you know what we need to do if it's getting this close? We need to get on board and have ourselves a bit of Aston time. Cardinale, apologies if I didn't get that one right, is having a chat to us in the Twitch and says go Fazekas, go. Yeah, indeed, he's having a great race. And if you didn't see what happened earlier, he managed to jump the first two through the pit stops. Did a very, very short pit stop indeed, which suggests he fueled till the end and did a manual stop just for tyres. Managed a 32.9 second pit stop, which was enough, probably about 3 seconds quicker than Pitzik, who we're on board with at the moment. So these two are still chasing each other down. And there's your man Fazekas, currently leading this race, doing very, very well. Incidentally, there was only sort of 5 thousandths between them a couple of laps ago over the course of the entire lap, which just shows you the pace and the consistency that these guys are running at. But we need to have a look at the Bugnara boys as well, because their battle seems to be heating up, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Indeed, it does. I'm telling you, I couldn't do that, right? I mean, they might not be brothers, they may be cousins, they may not be related at all, they might just have the same surname, but I mean, to be this close to each other, if they are related, which I'm sure they are, being in the same league as well. You know, one little mistake, if you end up taking out the other individual or causing them to have a spin or something like that, you will never ever live that down, or you're going to have to be grovelling for the next week indeed. But we'll see. They've been absolutely nose to tail for the entire race, these two, and that looks like it's not going to change anytime soon. Castillini has now managed to get that gap up to a second, so that is very positive for him. Pit 6 second, Andrea's got himself back up onto the podium, so that is pleasing for him. A shame for Kellaway, but I feel, you know, 4th place is good for him, although Petrosini, again, remember we were saying Petrosini is on a massive comeback at the moment in this race, is now only 1.5 behind and will definitely be able to be having a look at the rear wing of Kellaway, so that's going to give him motivation, certainly. Brugnara 6th, as we can see in front at the moment, Brugnara 7th as well, Apostle 8th, Christian Stock, what's happened to Christian? Now the camera's taken an hour to do that, so Christian's evidently had an issue there in his 25 Porsche, which is unfortunate. Again, very, very nice livery. We haven't actually really had to listen to the Porsche, have we? So let's do it, and let's get right on board. Let's have a look and see what his inputs are doing. Let's see if the Porsche is going to behave as we go down the start-finish straight through the kink and then down towards Crowthorne. Magnani is in 10th place, only 1.2 behind, so that's a battle that could certainly develop. Blue flags waving. Centorino is in 12th. Centorino is 11th. Cacciacala is in 12th, only 0.7 behind. Then we've got Keddy's managed to work his way up to 13th position, 9.2 further back down the road there. And then we've got Paggy again, is another 11 seconds further back. Like the Van Dorn brothers, Nürburgring 24 hours took each other out. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Kino. Yeah, you would just be, well, it would be awful, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, as we get onto the break. So there's a nice little view there for Christian, and Magnani is right behind him though in the BMW. So again, now you've got to think about the two different types of cars. The Porsche, we know she's got very good acceleration, we know she carries speed through the corners extremely well. That BMW, as we get a nice kick of flames out the back, I love it when I time it like that, nice boot of flames out the back of that Porsche. But we know the BMW is flashing away. I think Magnani's watching the stream, he's saying hello to everybody. She's the Beamer, she's planted. Yeah, I think she's quite, you could class her as a bit boring really, you know, she's just solid. She's not going to kill you, she's got good traction, she carries good speed through the corners, she's not aero dependent like the Porsche is, and obviously you can usually then push her because it feels safer. Yeah, that's my overview of the Beamer, and the Porsche is just fantastic, amazing, but she will kill you in an instant, and that's the way that those are. At the top of the grid, it's still the same. Pitsick is now a couple of tenths further back, 1.2 back, so we're looking at this battle here, which is between Christian Stock in 9th, Magnani for 10th. We did get back, so where to go? Keddy, Paggy's in 14th, Catalano's in 15th, another 5 seconds down the road. Max Oliger is within half a second, as is Togning, so we've got a three-way battle developing there, which I'm going to have a look at in a moment. Guaglio's in 18th, Bogdanovic only 0.4 behind in 19th place, then Oliver Gurley's in 20th, Graveson's 21st, Matoli is in 22nd place. Let's finish off this grid. Vasarani 23rd, Penzi's in 24th, obviously, as we found out during the show this evening, is the only M6 on the grid, which is fantastic. He's in 24th, Dortmund's in 25th, just managed to put a move on Fabio there in 26th place. Lenardi's 27th, Clarkson's 28th, Benelli's 29th, and then we've got Jacobo Carrara 30th, George Clarkson 31st, Baldinini 32nd, Perez 33rd, 34th is Raggi at the moment, and then we've got Pennington who's in the 35th, and Crepesi 36th. Is that going to be a move? I really thought that Magnani was going to try and force a move, but he didn't have to. You could see him just backing out the throttle there, so evidently he's very conscious, which is a good thing, which is a very good thing. He's very conscious of his race and Stock's race as well, so you've heard him back out a couple of times. So I'm thinking that Magnani's definitely carrying more pace at this stage of the race as we go down towards Crowthorne. And I think he could do him on the brakes here, I really do. Let's see if he does choose to make it. He is going to make a move. He dives down the inside there, as you see. That was a fantastic move. Under braking there, Magnani takes ninth position, and Christian's now got to think about, well, am I going to be in a position to push? And who have we got just gone off the track there? Someone's just definitely had a wander. I think that was Fabio. Was it Fabio? I'm not sure. Wasn't for position anyway, unfortunately. So Fazekas is still leading the race. Pitzik has got a comfortable 1.2 seconds. I always say in ACC is more than comfortable. No one's breathing down your neck at 1.2 seconds, so you can concentrate on what's going on in front of you. Make sure you're looking for those braking points, those turning points, acceleration points, all those things. You're not under too much pressure with it at around a second. And we've got a BMW moving out of the way there. That's going to be a blue flag situation. That's allowing stock to close up just enough to maybe put him under a bit of pressure. We've got another follower on the Twitch channel, SVD90. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's good. We seem to get quite a lot of new followers every time we do a live stream, which is always good. Don't forget to go over to my YouTube channel as well and drop a like. You know, it's all good. Gets out to even more people. Yeah, and please do say something in the live chat. I've got both in front of me, so it's always good to say hello to new people that are watching the stream for the first time. So let's have a look. Close battles on the track. I need to find something a little bit closer than that. There we go. Where's Bogdanovic? He's always been in it this evening, hasn't he? So Bogdanovic, and we've got another close one behind, but that's not for position. This one is for position. So Bogdanovic is chasing down. You can see Loris Guaglio just in front there in the 602 Aston, chasing down the 22 Ferrari. And this is for 18th and 19th position. We then got a 4.1 second gap back, but Lunardi and Clarkson, Carrera, that's looking pretty close as well. So we probably should be having a look at that at some point. Let's look at the Gran Turismo camera. Sorry guys, I couldn't help myself there. Move done, heavy under braking, but Guaglio's going to have the inside line, and they touch. I knew that was going to happen. Let's go on cockpit and let's do a replay of that. Let's see what the no, I said cockpit, please. Wow, I mean, at the end of the day, Bogdanovic did get a move done, we saw that, but Guaglio did definitely have the inside line for the next corner, and they were side by side. It's not like one was further back. I don't think it was even questionable, you know, were you far enough alongside to be able to claim the corner. So I think that contact was probably, as much as it was avoidable, was probably inevitable as well. You've got to think we are under 10 minutes to go until the end of this race. So they've been racing now for what, a good 55 minutes. They're all working pretty hard, and obviously when you're in a race like this and there's strategy involved and all those bits, and you find yourself then actually right on top of somebody and it's for position, it can lead to a few love taps, which is, you know, unfortunate sometimes, but we know that it does happen. Excuse me there, the H2O. Fazekas, I said to you when he had a second there, he's just pumping in those lap times. Yeah, he's being ultra consistent. He's built that gap now. It's 2 seconds. He's just got to keep doing that, hasn't he? We're coming up towards completing lap 33. Sorry, lap 32. We're going to start lap 33. I think, if my brain's working properly. And you know, I mean, we can see. Let's have a look at the difference on the last lap. I think he's just being ultra consistent. So let's have a look at the comparison at the bottom of the screens there. So you can see, I mean, there's not a lot in it, is there? There was only a 10th difference in the last lap between them. But he is slowly just eking out that gap. And with 8 minutes to go, that is completely the right thing to do. He's just got to be consistent now. Just got to keep putting those lap times in. Andrea's obviously still holding the fastest lap of the race with a 1:40.365, which is massively impressive. Kellaway is still holding 4th place nicely. So there you are, Mr. Kellaway. You're impressing me tonight, I have to say, because Petrosini behind you is absolutely rapid, but he is a further 4 seconds down the road. So what looked like a challenge was going to be coming a few laps ago maybe means, well, we've had some tyres eaten a little bit too much in that push to get up to the back of Kellaway. Samuel Brugnara is still holding 6th place, and you cannot see Mattia at the moment. So that gap has evidently increased. It's 1.7 seconds now. Sebastian, as he goes off, so that's got to allow him to catch up. Sebastian's got the bit between his teeth as well, hasn't he? He can see both the Brugnara guys in front. So the gap between Samuel and Mattia is 1.5, and then it's 2.5 back to this chap, Sebastian Apostel, in his number 12 BMW. So I'm going to keep an eye on those doubters, because Sebastian normally has very good pace. Then we've got Magnani, who we saw earlier on put that move. Where has he gone? Christian Stock has ended up down, he's moved down to 14th. When we were watching that really epic battle between him and Magnani a short while ago, and Christian Stock, well, maybe that took, again, maybe it's taken a bit too much life out the tyres. I don't know, maybe an hour and 5 is just enough to push them a little bit too hard. Maybe they've got different brake pads selected as well, which might be starting to fade. Again, lots of variables, and in 10th place currently is Centurino. Marco is your last individual in the top 10 there in the number 14. Cacciacala's running in 11th place in the number 60 Ferrari, and Marco Keddy, you know what, he's got to be happy with that, really, hasn't he? I mean, Keddy in the 737 McLaren, it's his first race over here with us at ERS, and as I said, I know Keddy very well. I do a lot within FRL, and he's rapid. I mean, Keddy is rapid. And he's 12th. So I'm going to be intrigued to get his feedback after on what he thinks the standard is like over here, and I'm sure he's just going to say faster, because that's all he ever says whilst he's flying. Right, Ricardo Paggi's running in 13th place, and then Christian Stock, as we've got here, is currently in 14th. Dropped a few places in his Porsche. I think that's probably tyre wear, or maybe it's a case of, obviously with the fuel burning down, obviously that, you know, that pitch sensitivity becomes rather difficult towards end of races, because obviously at the beginning of the races it's got heavy fuel load, which is keeping that car, well, weighted down. He is doing a great job, Kino. He is indeed. I agree with you. Togni's in 15th place. There you can see there, and Togni is 4 seconds away from his target. Catalano, though, wow, he's not, is he? He's 0.3, so let's get on board. 0.2. We found ourselves a beautifully close battle. We've got Nissan versus McLaren, two vastly different cars. Again, I do think the Nissan is underrated. She's not the quickest thing in the world, but she'll go fast enough, and I think for longer than others. She's not going to kill you. It's quite a stable car. That's just my opinion, anyway. Which is probably not everyone else's, but that's the beauty of life, isn't it, I suppose. Anyway, up towards Crocodiles on those brakes. Now it's 0.5, so the gap has increased. Although I have to say, I did drive the McLaren a few days ago. Incidentally, I know we all love sim racing. That's why we're here, and that's why we do. And I'm sure no one won't mind me saying this, but over at Formula Racing League, we have a 24 hours event coming up in a couple of weeks' time. 24 hours of Spa. I believe there are still opportunities for people to join. There's well over 40 teams registered. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to be doing comms, and I am going to be driving Kino. The RKM boys have managed to convince me, so I'm going to have an early morning shift in between comms, so that's going to be, well, something amazing to be part of, no doubt. And Catalano gets that move done there on Daniel Togni. Let's see if he has a response or not. So let's just stay on board for a few seconds while we see if that materialises, and then we will continue our little grid walk, if you like. It's like a fashion show, isn't it? Of beautiful liveries and carbon. depending on how you look at it. Christian Stock is 0.3, so wow, he's all over the back. He is all over the back of Paggy as well. So we've got two really good battles. Don't touch boys, you don't. And you just saw him getting massively on the brakes there. And Paggy's running in the Mercedes. We have not had a look at a Mercedes today, actually. So let's do it now. Why not? Let's do it from there. Let's see what we've got on there. Glitch Motorsport. Now, I know that's a little bit, because I put that on earlier on. Let's hope he doesn't have any glitches towards the end of this race. Sorry. You can't give me that and expect me not to say anything. Anyway, so Fazekas is still leading this race up front. Pitsick in second. Andrea is still in third. So your podium is still exactly the same as we come through Ingwe to start another lap. 2 minutes 20 to go. Kellaway is still in fourth. Petrini fifth. Brugnara sixth. Mattia Brugnara seventh. Postel still running in eighth. Magnani, Centurino, Catricala, Keddy were on board at the moment with Paggy, who's got Christian Stock all over the back of him. Then we've got Catalano 15th, Togni 16th, Oliger's in 17th place, Guaglio is in 18th, Geller's 19th. Let's have a look at him. Another nice battle developing here. So let's try. Oh, we've got a three-way going on there. Bogdanovic in 20th position, Graveson 21st, Matoli is in 22nd, Vasirani 23rd, Penzi's in his M6, which we may, you have to win it. What do you mean, Kino? What, as in I have to drive just to get involved in it? Yeah, I know, 100%. That's why we all started this, didn't we? You know. Oh, a 20-minute online lobby. No, I want to do back. I want to do longer. You know, this GT cars. Want to do. Oh, an hour's competition server. Yeah, but I want to do longer. Oh, let's do league racing. A 2-hour endure. 2 hours, and then bam. You know, let's go for it. You know, I'm sure we're all a bit on that path, and I am really, really looking forward to it. So, if anyone wants any details on that, please do drop me a line, and I will happily pass them on to you. So we've got to Penzi's. Lenardi's running in 25th at the moment. Lee Dorman 26th. Fabio Carrera's 27th. Miles Clarkson is 28th. And then we've got... so we've got Fabio, and that's Carrera. And then we've got Jacopo Carrai's 29th. Benelli's in 30th. George Clarkson 31st. Again, I'd like to know what the relationship is between those two, between him and Miles. Baldinini 32nd, Raggy's 33rd, Luke Pennington is running down in 34th place at the moment, and there you can see Christian's in the pits. Why is he in the pits, Christian? Why are you in the pits? Have you run out of fuel? Drive through clip. No, that was ages ago. That's such a shame. He's going to have... Look, 1 lap left of the race. It's got to be a fuel issue. Christian, if you are watching the streams, I need you to tell me what's just happened there. Anyway, let's get back to the front for the final lap of the race. Here we have Barnabas Fazekas in the 95 Honda. Has driven fantastically well this evening. As you can see, he's now got a 3.8 second lead back to Pitsick, which is no mean feat, and I've been very impressed. I like the fact that he obviously nailed that fuel pit strat. I'm sure he was fueled from the beginning to go to the end of the race, and did a very, very quick manual stop to 3 seconds quicker than his nearest rival, which is really, really good to see. Pitsick's driven extremely well, as you would expect. We know he's got some really strong pace, and Andrea has managed to get back into the podium after quite an eventful start, losing a position, ending up down the grid a little bit, early pit stop, and manages to, at the moment, again we're not finished, at the moment is in line for potential third place. So let's jump on board. The Brugnara guys, there's 0.2 between them. Why are you doing this, Samuel and Mattia? Why at this stage of the race? Well, I'll come back to you in a little while. Right, let's get on board. Let's enjoy the last few corners with Fazekas. Been a fantastic drive, faultless drive. Was brave, stayed out when everyone else jumped in the pits. I thought he was being held up too much and was going to lose out, but no, timed it absolutely perfectly as he comes through Ingwe for the last time. There we go, ladies and gents. P1 to Barnabas Fazekas, and very, very well deserved. So congratulations to you, Fazekas. Pitsick crosses the line in second place. Congratulations. Another extremely impressive performance by you and Andrea. There's a race win coming. I'm convinced of that. Great pace by you. Jason Kellaway, you have got to be... Wait, slow down, dude. He's going to the wall. Beautifully parked. Did you see that? That was fantastically parked. Jason Kellaway, fantastic race. He's probably jumped out of his rig, so he needs to go and have himself a little comfort break and just let the car go. Petrosini finished 5th in the end. Petrosini, well done. I mean, I know it wasn't ideal, but we did get a strong finish there in the end, so well done to you, sir. Samuel Brugnara manages to finish ahead of Matteo Brugnara just about. Sebastian Apostel, look at him, he's getting a wiggle on. He's getting a little wiggle on there. We're better. Oh, look at it. Why not have a bit of sideways action? You can have that, mate. Well done in 8th place. Good recovery in the end. Magnani. Where is Magnani? Come on, Magnani. Let's have a look here. There we go. The 818 BMW for Magnani finishes in 9th place. Centurino in 10th. So well done to you in the Porsche. Catricala finished 11th in the end. I've got donuts going on somewhere. Oh, there we go. At the top. So Catricala finishes 11th. Marco Keddy. You know what? I'm sure Keddy's going to be pretty happy with that, actually. I would be. So Keddy manages to finish in 12th place. Riccardo Paggi 13th. Well done to you. And that was a good race as well. And then we've got Catalano 14th. Togni finished in 15th place. Max Oliga in 16th. Luis Guaglio manages to come across the line in 17th place. Then we've got Matoli in 19th, Vasarani in 20th, Adam Penzies, there you go, in the M6. He finishes in 21st, Leonardo 22nd, Lee Dortmund there in 23rd place, well done to you, Carrera in 24th, Miles Clarkson brings his vehicle home, the 108 Bentley in 25th, Bogdanovic had an eventful race in the Aston, 26th in the pits, and then we've got Karai, George Clarkson 28th, Benelli 29th, Baldinini in the 30th place. Well, I will remember that Aston is bright pink, no doubt. Raggi in 31st and Crepesi in 32nd. So unless people have sort of dumped out already, we had 32. So there you go, ladies and gents. That was absolutely hectic. But what a fantastic race, as we are finding quite regularly, actually, within the European Racing Series. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with the level of racing, and hopefully you guys are all enjoying the coverage that I'm managing to bring you every week. I'd like to say a big thank you again to the podium. Well done, guys. A fantastic race. Everyone that's watched this evening on the Twitch channel and also on my YouTube channel, I really appreciate that, and everyone that's put comments on, having chats and supporting each other, that's what we want to see, that's what we want to keep building. So make sure you guys don't miss what goes on next week. One final request from me, as I always do, if you're watching on the Twitch channel, hop over to my YouTube and drop a like or a sub if you want to see more content and the rest of the series, and conversely, if you're watching on my YouTube channel, pop a follow over on ERS so you can get involved as well. But that, ladies and gents, is it from me this evening. Thanks all for watching. Well done, everyone. I will see you all next week. Comms by Coops out.